Look what I got in the mail today, or should I say, so this is Hexplore It Hero Chest, and here you see Hexplore It the Dead King. Now this is quite an old game, and I had a search quest on Marketplace, and yeah, at a random time somebody put it up for sale, and I looked at my itch.io stuff, and I could finance most of it with the stuff that people pay for on itch.io. So it cost me all in this plus the hero box. With shipping it was 85 euros, and it's as new, I think. You can. I wanted specifically the second edition, which you can tell from Hexplore It being in the bottom. The Kickstarter is the shitty one. It has here the Hexplore It text on the top. So you always want the second edition, because the Kickstarter was full of mistakes, rule omissions, and it was just a piece of crap. And I'm always a little conflicted about Hexplore It as a team or producer, because they ideally should have sold an upgrade pack, and now people are just stuck with the first edition. So the reason I wanted eventually the Dead King was because of a previous thing that was called the Forests of Adrimon. In contrast to the first volume, Hexplore It here is in the bottom, meaning that this is the first edition. So I got the first edition. It is not as not as big as a difference between the first and second printing of volume 1. Volume 2 has first printing and a second printing as well, and the second printing is a lot of typos were changed, corrected. So that is the main difference. The rulebook has some clarifications also, but this is a perfectly serviceable game, while the first edition of Valley of the Dead King is practically unplayable. This one is playable. Now the enticing thing was that I also bought from the creators the Fall of the Ancients stretch goal pack, and this has illustrated cards for the volume 1 and volume 2, and I don't plan to buy anything else, so I'm perfectly happy with this part. The Fall of the Ancients also has a book. Fall of the Ancients, huge book. You can print it at home, but you don't want to, even with a great printer like my Epson. So that is, and I spent like months with volume 2. I also made a roguelite version for it, so as you play you gain certain perks, and I'm designed some missions, and it's all on my itch.io. I think it's for free, I don't remember. So back to this, the hero chest, it's also a package deal, so it could not be split, so I had to have the Hexplore It hero chest. I don't really care much for it, but yeah, that king also comes with books. Like there is Clicks Madness, but the problem with that book is that it is pretty thick, so you don't want to have the digital version. Also, the digital version was unreadable. Many people complained about it, so you actually had to have the printed version. And many reports are that the first two, it's 4 chapters, so the first 2 chapters are great. Third chapter is mediocre, and the fourth is just reading. So much for choose your own adventure. The writer, James, is aware of the criticism, and he would like to make a new version of Clicks Madness. So in any case, you should not buy Clicks Madness. However, there are also other books called Legends, designed specifically for the Dead King and geared towards true solo. So I bought Corrosive History for $24. I printed out everything from Drive-Thru RPG. There is an issue with yeah, it's not there's so much to tell, but there is an issue with these legends, because they have they refer to Clicks Madness, the book, by certain passages in the rulebook, and so you need a front load PDF. I asked the creator or the editor for the front load, and he gave it to me for free. So I think anyone else should also get those pages. He can just give you the parts of the pages that are necessary to actually play the Corrosive History. Yeah, and for the rest, there was some BGG guy who printed out all the items, or designed them, so all the things like shrines and markets and things that you can buy have been codified, so you don't need to write anything else. But this is for the Valley of the King, of the Dead King with expansion. So I'll make these all into cards. So that's one of the projects, alongside with yeah, I printed out the Corrosive History. It's drying somewhere else, and I have to bind it and cut out the outer edges, of course. So that's a lot of work. Now let's see what's inside. Oh yeah, also these books. I thought in my ignorance that this game was a primitive version of the Forest of Adrimon, so it would be like a piece of crap. However, I was pleasantly surprised that this is actually a great book. It's a joy to read. Things are very natural. The wording is precise, clear. Of course, the more complicated parts, like the game turn overview, event locations, etc., they are not defined well, but I have a reference guide that explains everything. It's the groundwork that I did already. Storybook is great. Actually, this is, I think, even a better, and I already love Volume 2, but this is already a better and more expensive game, because you have 6 modes to begin the game, which nobody tells you, but normal play, alternate start, here alternate start 3, and there are many different ways to start your game. So that's a nice extra thing that I intend to incorporate. You have seen a ton of unboxings, so here's one more very quickly. So you have a nice case for the Adrimon, which I of course also have. I think the best. I was always like everybody should start at Volume 1 and decide later to get Volume 2, etc. I am not so sure anymore. I think Volume 2, then Volume 1 is better. So here look, you see the 2 minis. This is the Reaper minis. Adrimon also had 2 miniatures which I painted, so I'm going to have to prime and paint these guys. Here you see the dice, 3 dice like so. I will put them in separate tiny ziplocks, because it makes no sense to have them all around. What you see here is the lack of a D8, the fate die, that is not present in Volume 1 yet. There is a ton of stuff here, so I'm already, yeah, until next time I think, it's a lot.